Hello, Magda. Big time.
Hi, Justina. It's really nice to hear and see you. We can see each other on camera, but our listeners will only hear us. In our very first episode of Let the Tech Out, in which we will be talking about technologies and diversity, inclusion and equality, if we can say so, and how we, as people, and how we create and also use technologies, right?
Yeah, that's quite interesting how the tech encompasses our lives and influences us, even though we are not even aware of it. And I think that's even though both of us work in certain areas of tech, we're always curious about the influence and the dynamics between society and information technology, computers, and stuff like that.
Definitely. So I think that with this podcast, what we want to give, like when I was thinking about how to start this first episode and, how to start talking about our podcast and what we want to bring to the world with our ideas, is to actually calm people and bring them some kind of like a, warm blanket when thinking and talking about technologies, so that, it's not a phenomenon that is totally independent from humans, but rather that we can influence it. We can control, we can decide, and we can choose how we want to use it, to what extent, and what not. And by saying this, I think it's a good time that we introduce ourselves, right? So Justina, tell us, well, I know who you are, but tell us who you are and how you want to also talk about tech from tech and diversity from your perspective.
I'm Justina, and I'm the head of user experience design at Makimo, which is a software house and consultancy agency. And I've always been interested in the dynamic between my subject matter and the society, and even during my studies, because I graduated from history of art, I focused my master's not on types of decorations, but how the city and the society in colonial 18th century Brazil shaped each other. And when I'm not looking at things and at people or interviewing them, I run long distances or do yoga, knit, or solve puzzles, and I love all the dogs. And how about you, Magda?
It's good that you mentioned your love for dogs, because I actually currently work for a company that produces food and medicine for pets, for domestic and farm animals. I'm a Scrum Master in one of the IT teams. Currently, I work with 2 teams that work on improving and automating products and solutions. And I think that my career before has changed a few times. However, tech was always somewhere in my life. And to sum it up in a few sentences, I'm a social. I'm a believer in social constructivism, which means basically the same what I said at the beginning of our episode, that we as humans can definitely influence technologies, and that human development is socially situated. Our cultures, our behaviors, or even our histories and how we were raised can influence on interaction with others, on interaction with technologies, etc. So I think that through this episode, I want to look at different tech products and solutions and phenomena, and look at the people who create those and also at people who use those, to see how they construct our reality and how we as users can also construct technologies, and sometimes even how our social problems like inequalities, sometimes not being very diverse and open to others, how this can be copied to technologies and how to tackle those issues. So I think that I will be looking at everything from a more team, people, human perspective as well.
And we also share one other thing, apart from yoga, love for tech, love for people. We both had or have some experience in teaching people, because you've got your adventure in the Netherlands, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Well, I used to be a junior lecturer at Maastricht University in the Netherlands, and I used to teach many different topics. But in a nutshell, it was European history, European politics. It was definitely a fun time in my life, I have to say. And since then, I think that I do love, working in an international environment. And I think that it stayed that although I moved to many places from many places, I still work with international teams, and it still super interests me how we work differently, how we communicate differently with each other. I think that this is really fascinating. And then, how we can then talk about things like technologies, science, etc. So definitely. And I think that we will use those topics as well. So for example, as you mentioned, like we both do yoga and we both like, good food and good wine. And I think that we will be inviting some of the guests for our next episodes to talk about those aspects in their disciplines.
Just a quick follow-up. I'm also a lecturer currently at the University of Economics and Human Science in Warsaw, where I teach user experience research and user experience in IT systems, and empower students to discover how different experiences, different solutions shape the app, the software that they're creating, and how it affects their users. And I guess that empowerment is a good bridge to the idea behind each of our episodes, those tiny exercises in observation, because we want each other, and we also invite our listeners to follow us on this journey to discover different nuances of products they use in daily basis, and how convoluted they are, and how can those products, those apps affect inclusivity, shape our society and their behavior as well. And the first exercise is...
So it's a question from our future guest, Agnieszka, who's the linguist. She's not only a linguist. She does everything that concerns language education, and also translation, and working with business people.
But also so working in education field.
Yes. So she's basically an education.
Yeah, alternative forms of education.
Education and language pro. I'm sure she'll be better at introducing herself in the next episode than we are. But getting to the point, her question to us and to our audience was to find the arguments why the machine translations from different languages to English are better than from English to any other languages that exist in the world. So I think that we can leave you with this question. I think that we already have some answers, and I guess that you also can build up some answers from even basically thinking a little bit. But I think it can be a nice conversation opener next time, as I think that Agnieszka, she's really following all the language learning and also translation tools. I think that she's also really up to date, and she'll be able to tell us a bit more. Also, how this machine translation tools can be exclusive and can bring some problems to how we use it. So I'd say stay tuned.
Yeah, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whenever and wherever you listen to podcasts.
And all the other platforms. Yeah. And this is like the first time we're doing this, so we're super excited. I'm sure if you stay with us for the next episode, we're gonna be better at like recording and talking and also presenting. So
we'll be definitely
do stay with us on this adventure.
Yeah, and we'll be more composed in terms of marketing.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Thank you so much, and we hope that you will hear us soon.
And if you have any questions, please reach out via email, letthethechouts@gmail.com.
Yeah.
By the next episode, have a wonderful time and have fun with technology.
Yes, don't forget about it. That's the first and the most important thing. Yeah, okay. Well, thank you so much, Justina, and I hope to hear from you soon.
Yeah, thanks, Magda, for this chat. Hear you soon.
Bye.